Hey everybody, it's Will,
And this is Thomas.
and we're back at the virtual spinner rack on OK Boomer. You'll notice that I look a little different today and bright lights and big stuff because I am on my camera phone because my computer does not want to play nice. So, here we are.
Yeah.
So, we're going to talk about the very last issue of Super Villain Team Up from Marvel. That because the series was ending, they continued this story into the Champion 16,
Yep.
who, as case be known, was canceled the following issue.
Yeah. It only went 17 issues, huh? I didn't see that. I remember I pulled it up. I did read this issue and 16, both of which I'd never read. And I guess they're for trivia. As we was reading this issue, apparently something happens to Magneto in Defender 16, which I don't have. I've never read it either.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Let me just
There it is. You know the thing that did get me though, because you said this is one of the first issues you bought off the rack. This has got a sweet Vernon Austin cover, but they're not the interior artist.
no, that was it was disappointing because this cover is totally badass, but the interior art was really good though.
Yeah, the interior art it's not a slouch, but I mean, this is kind of Vernon Austin at their peak. They're doing X-Men, and they may have been doing Avengers at the same time. Uh, it just but then you get inside, and so there's our cool cover, and inside I think it was Bob Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, yeah, Hall, and then Perlin and Duffy Volhan were inking, and I'm not familiar with Volhan. Of course, Mantelo did the script, which is good. But yeah, the interior art's not bad, but it's not Vernon Austin.
No, it's not. It's not Vernon Austin. That cover. I saw that cover on the spinner rack, and I was like, "That's Doctor Doom," and I recognized him from the Daily Spider-Man comic strip because that was the first like major villain that they had in like a Spider-Man
Yeah,
comic strip that I read.
that's kind of funny too, because what Doom shows up in Spider-Man 5 too. I think he's in first appearances in FF5, and then his like second appearances in Spider-Man 5. I think it is because he lays the hammer down on Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, shortly. I mean, by this time, actually, when we read this book, he's already the quintessential villain in the Marvel universe.
This book was so good, and of course, ass backwards me. I'm like, oh, I think Champions was the beginning of the story, so I read Champions first, and then as soon as I finished reading that book, I get a message from you. No, Champions is the second part. I'm like, yeah, thanks.
Look, I try and between work and everything, I try and respond as fast as I can. What's funny though is, yeah, this was a really good book. And both of them, I read both of them the day before the show. They're super fast reads, but I've had some buddies, and I've talked with some friends about it. The thing that always gets me is at home, in Latveria, Doom's home. The a lot of the people actually love him, and then some of them, they're just afraid of him, and that's kind of what we get. The book opens with there's a big ass party, and Magneto's there trying to go through it, and he's like, "Why are all these people freaking partying?"
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, within a page or two, we find out that basically they're having a damn big shindig and a party because Doctor Doom said, "Go out and have a big shindig and a party, and if you don't, I'm gonna come kill you all." So
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes.
yeah, so I mean, hey, I need you to go out and get drunk and have a good time, or I'm going to kill you. Oh, no, no, that's easy. I'll go out and have a good time.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, here it is right here. This is the dude. Yeah, it tells him in the first page, yeah, we got to rejoice or we'll face his wrath. And Magneto just doesn't get it. He doesn't understand any of it. I guess this is too also one of the times still. This is early 77, so it's not too long. Magneto's still super powerful, but they haven't got everything right. You know, he throws the horses around and the other people to start the book with, and then he starts just threatening the damn citizens. He's not a. This isn't the what would you call him as time now? Magneto. He's the Holocaust survivor. He's the underdog, but even now he's kind of like a hero in the modern X-Men books. I think they know he's a bad guy, but he's the repentant bad guy, I guess.
In here, he was just straight up villain, and now this issue might be considered a form of child abuse if we let a kid read it now.
Yeah, because it's rough. So he's mad.
He's such a bully. Oh my God.
He is bullying everybody. And he throws the damn giant statue down, and it's just weird because he gets mad at everybody because they're having a good time because Dr. Doom said, "Go have a good time."
I think I might be Magneto.
You might be Magneto because everybody's having a good time.
I'm just mad all the time. I don't know.
You're just mad all the time.
And I'm not green, so I'm obviously not the Hulk.
No.
I used to think I was when I was a kid, and then the other kids in the neighborhood would beat me up, and I realized I wasn't the Hulk, so I would go back and put my Batman costume on and throw rocks at them, pretending they were batarangs, and then the police would come and talk to me.
Oh my God, it's terrible.
Because my mother used to call the cops on me.
Your mom would?
My mom would.
Come beat this heathen child of mine.
Yeah. Just come handcuff him and bring him to the car.
We talked about this, supervillain team up, and I think we talked about it last week. The fact that this is one of the first times when the comics code was going down,
mm-hmm.
and that they could actually highlight the villains, because before they couldn't. It always had to be the good guys, and the villain had to have its comeuppance. And what's funny is as we read this, some of the stuff that goes on this issue kind of harkens back to the earlier issues because I've read them. Only instead of Magneto, it's Doom and Namor in the earlier issues. Because it just it's kind of the same thing, that team up where both of them are going at each other.
Yeah,
I do like how Magneto, when he gets to Doom's castle, he's like playing chess with all the,
I love this page.
Yeah.
I love a lot of pages in this book because it's bringing me back to my childhood. I saw this badass looking book where Dr. Doom had all the superheroes bowing down to him, and I was like, oh, I got to get this. What's going on in here?
Yeah. Well, that's what a comic's supposed to do. It's supposed to pull you in from the cover and then make.
And I didn't know half the people on this, on the cover. I knew Captain America because I had his Mego doll.
Because you had his Mego?
I had his Mego, and I've seen Captain America on TV, and he had like a TV show and a cartoon, and I knew a few of them, but
yeah,
not many because I hadn't heard of the X-Men yet.
Well, and that's the thing. This book's from 77. You said you were born in 70, so you were 6 or 7 when this hit the stands.
Mm-hmm.
So it's acceptable that you didn't know everybody. You know,
I was a youngin'.
yeah. And that's like the same time I start remember reading comics is shortly after this. Is like I said, 79, 80s when I really start remembering comics. Um, and but yeah, not knowing everybody is perfectly acceptable here. I mean, this is, but it's good. I mean, I like, even if you look at his chess pieces, he's got, of course, he's holding Reed Richards, and he's like human, and then there's Doctor Doom. Um, looks like Beast. Uh, there's Spider Man, the Thing. I think that's a Silver Surfer
Mm-hmm.
because I can't see anything else on him. Then there's Captain America. I do like how he's got a bondage Sue Storm here, though.
Yowza.
Did you catch that? Yeah, he's got her strapped to like a pole or something.
Time to shake that money maker, Susie.
Yeah, whether it's invisible or not.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, Doom's here thinking about it with his chess pieces, which are everybody else,
No, I can't do
and
that.
he gets mad and knocks them all off the board. And he's like, I've accomplished everything, and nobody knows, and I'm bored. And here comes Magneto to stop Doom's boredom.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually where, like I said, Doom and Magneto talk for a minute, and this is where he tells him he knows what happens to him, which is in Defender 16. Maybe you remember this. It says he got turned into a child or a baby by, who was it? I just read it.
Eric the Red, yeah.
Yeah, Eric the Red. I don't remember that at all. I was like, what in the crap? How did he turn?
Eric the Red was an android that Magneto created.
So his own creation turned on him.
Yeah.
He turned him into a damn child.
Turned him into a child without powers.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as we learn later, as he's having this flashback about it,
Yeah.
And there's a homage panel right there, top right, of I believe X-Men 104.
It's X-Men 104 is what they say. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Archie, for doing all your due diligence of tying like a dozen and a half issues into this one book.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, this what makes you. I said I went and looked to see if I actually had Defender 16, which I don't, to read, and I would have never. That would have never been on my radar. Is hey, I need to go read it. This is a thing we talked about before with new comics and old comics and keeping comic shops up. Now I need to read Defender 16.
I didn't stop buying Defenders until Angel joined the team.
You didn't start buying until Angel joined the team?
Yeah.
That's late, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's like halfway through the run.
Yeah, 60s or 70s, I think. But what's funny is Magneto is upset because Doom knows what's happened to him. And then he goes on and starts screaming at Dr. Doom about how he's Doom has not been able to conquer the world and he can't do that. And Dr. Doom just plainly tells him, I already rule the world. And Magneto just thinks he's talking about Latveria.
Mm-hmm.
But lo and behold, Doom has got these neuro canisters that have released their gaseous contents into the atmosphere, and now everyone in the world is under Dr. Doom's control, and they have to do what he tells them to do.
Except, as we learn later on, thanks to another little box from Archie Goodwin, that the Fantastic Four are like out in space somewhere,
and the X-Men.
And the X-Men are gone too, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the only superheroes that aren't on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's one more that's not that's not susceptible to Doom's power, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so Dr. Doom has done all this, and that's what's funny is he's ranting and raving. He's done all of this and has told nobody until now. He tells Magneto, who of course doesn't believe him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, he doesn't believe him, so you know the proof is in the pudding. So we switch pages here, and you know,
Yeah.
Doom has Magneto beating himself up and
Yeah, at the
forcing.
very at the end of this panel, he tells him, and Magneto can't stand up, so he falls, and then on this panel is where he does him beating him up.
Yeah, he pulls all. He's using his powers to pull all the weapons to attack himself, and then Doom releases control of him just enough so he can get a magnetic shield up to bounce all those ancient weapons off his shield so he doesn't get killed.
Yep.
And, you know, because Doom's like, well, you're entertaining a little bit. I was not bored for at least 3 seconds. So,
And,
you know.
and that's it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not bored now. That's why I let you live.
Mm-hmm.
But then he goes on. Like I said, what's funny is this is definitely Doom from years and years ago, because he's just triumphs too easy. I've let you free. Basically, go try and find somebody to stop me. And Magneto leaves after Doom drugs his ass.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He frees him and, you know, lets him go. But, you know, he's been knocked out and, you know, laid out in a field for like hours.
yeah, he drugs him, and then he wakes up, and then of course the first place he goes is to the Avengers mansion, and this is classic Avengers time. This must be around 1:30 or so,
Mm-hmm.
because it's I'm trying to remember everybody that's in here, because we got Wonder Man. Uh,
I didn't see Wonder Man.
isn't that Wonder Man?
I can't tell. I'm on my phone. It's very small.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
that's his first costume.
yeah, that's what I was saying. It's a Wonder Man, Thor, Thor, Cap, Wasp, Yellow Jacket, Iron Man, Beast, Vision, Scarlet Witch.
Mm-hmm. So
And then,
obviously Magneto comes in and he's throwing them all back. Obviously, Cap gets tossed because of his shield. Iron Man gets tossed, well, because obviously,
he's Iron.
yeah. And then he ends up creating these from metals in the air. He creates like these two spheres around Wasp and Yellow Jacket.
Yep. And then he takes them out.
Okay, now this is what got me confused.
Okay. What?
He attacks Vision.
Yeah.
Vision is an android.
Yes.
Isn't he all metal? But instead, he zaps the fake blood coursing through Vision for who knows what reason,
And it knocks Vision out. Yeah.
and you know attacks the particles of iron in his synthetic blood. I'm like, wait, Vision, he's an android. He's all friggin' metal.
Yeah. The whole thing's metal. And the old thing is Vision can change his density and all that, so he could actually be, not metal, I guess. But yeah, he attacks his blood and just knocks him out.
Mm-hmm.
What's funny is this issue is because we've got Quicksilver. Quicksilver's of course not here at this time, but here's Magneto attacking Wanda, and everything else. You know, they're obviously in love at this time. You know, my love, oh no. But in I think it's Avengers 185 is where we find out that Magneto is their dad, because that's the Wondigur story, whatever, where they the little cow lady raised them.
Yeah, and but now in modern era, Magneto is not their father.
That's right, they changed that, didn't they?
Sons of bitches.
See, that's why I don't read X-Men anymore. That's why I don't read X-Men no more.
I don't read X-Men no more. You all flubbed up my Avengers storylines.
Damn it. Uh, I do like. I still like Wonder Man. Wonder Man is one of the craziest um, heroes in the Marvel universe to me, because I mean even the Vision, because you know you got Wonder Man is um, you know Wonder Man's all tied to Hank, to Giant Man, and Vision's tied to both of them, and it's like they got the same brain waves, and it's I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's like they're all three the same person almost.
Yeah, it's really weird, and I hated this. I hated his original costume. You know,
Yeah,
it was like he had a side job as a caddy.
yeah. Well, it's and not only that, it's just god awful ugly. I mean, he looks like some kind of cross between, you know, even in that picture, he looks like he's got one eye, like Cyclops, and
Hmm.
like Daredevil put his damn costume colors together, because Daredevil's first costume was so
They
hideous.
they threw that costume together like in like 30 seconds. He's got to have a costume. Oh, okay.
It'll
We'll
be
just
green, yellow, and
we'll just we'll make it ugly and we'll combine a whole bunch of colors.
red.
We'll combine a whole bunch of other costumes.
Yeah,
We'll do the Cyclops visor, and
I
you know
like
what I would you know what I would have said to that costume if I was the editor.
go back and redo it.
Down. Yeah, no.
Damn it!
I found this digging through boxes.
Did you?
I bought this pen. My daughter and I bought this pen when she was little at the Hallmark store. So, you know, every time, Daddy, can we?
No.
Can
No.
can?
No.
There we go.
No, 100 times.
Yeah, it's got like a dozen voices that all say their version of.
No.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Right. So they all the Avengers end up attacking Magneto. Hank Pym, about lays him out. Not Hank. Hank Pym. Hank McCoy about lays him out, and then he wakes up, and as he's coming to, he explains to them that Doctor Doom rules the world, and that he's trying to stop them. And then Doom shows up with a hologram and forces the Avengers to attack Magneto again.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, Magneto hauls ass with Hank McCoy in tow, because he's of course going to pick the weakest Avenger. So he gets Hank and hauls butt. And as he gets away, he uses his mental powers to control minds with the iron-laden blood in their brain to nullify Doctor Doom's mind control. Um, I don't remember him having this power, but it says right there it's in Avengers 111 when it first shows up. So
They got rid of this power pretty quick.
They had to have. I mean, because this would just make him. I mean, he's already this stupid powerful mutant, one of the most powerful mutants in the Marvel universe,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're going to say he can control people's mind with by controlling the lead in their blood, or not lead, but the metal in their blood.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. So he convinces Hank to join him, and then they fly off to join the Avengers. Oh, here's your box right here. So they
Yep.
fly by the Baxter building, and then they fly by the mansion, and nobody's home. So the next person they think of is the champions.
Yep.
Um,
Because that's right where Archie Goodwin puts in his editor box of why they're not there and what issues you can find them on that current timeline and what they're doing.
yeah, champion. Yeah, right there. See X Men 155 or FF 155 and X Men 107, and then here
Mm-hmm.
where they say this is the last issue of Supervillain Team Up. I actually looked ahead past this because there are a couple issues after this, but they're kind of like the last couple issues of Nick Fury, Agent of Shield. They're reprint stories. It reprints earlier issues.
So I remember reading this when I was a kid,
Yeah,
and then I got to the last page, and I was like, "Whoa, who are these guys?" I didn't know who anybody on this page was
at the time.
at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, hell,
You
I
know,
knew everybody, but the chick here with the blonde, who is was it Dark Star,
yep.
and I did not know Dark Star. Even today, I was like, who is this chick? And later on, we find out she's Dark Star. But this is the original Johnny Blaze, the Angel, Iceman, Black Widow, and Hercules. Which
Mm-hmm.
just on a side note, I absolutely love the Marvel Hercules. Him and Thor, um, they're just such cool characters. I wish they did more with Hercules today, but they just don't. He always seems to get pushed to the side.
And obviously, even with my eyes, I can tell that uh, it's going to be Magneto, Beast, the Champions, and a very special guest star, the
Yep.
Incredible Hulk.
Yep.
And then we find out in Champion 16 that there is a long standing feud between Hercules and the Hulk.
Yes. Which actually goes back to like Tales to Astonish 79, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. And I'm
That's the
like,
first time they met.
and I'm just like, are you serious? These two characters haven't intertwined in like 20 years?
Well, the Hulk's been fighting Thor so much because by this time, they've had Hulk and Thor have had three big fights by this time. Because if you've had, um, they fight first in Journey in the Mystery 112. Then they fight again in so Journey Mystery 112. Then Hulk and Thor fight again in. All right, that one's missing me, but I know the third fight between Hulk and Thor is in Defenders 10.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the second one right now. Um, but I know Journey into Mystery 112 is insanely expensive to get.
Oh, yeah.
So do we want to come back next week and do 16?
Sure, that works for me because I already read it.
Yeah, yeah, I read it too. But we can come back next week. hopefully your computer will be back up next week, and we can do we'll do Champions 116.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. My internet went off, it came back on, and it went, and then my computer was like wigging out. So I like rebooted my computer, and I'm like, don't even want to look at it.
So I know that so it's not Byrne and Austin that did the work on this in the interior art, but what do you think overall?
I liked it. It had a very classic look, especially the page where Doom is playing with the chess pieces.
Yeah.
That panel right there, the top half of that page is just great.
Yeah, you could make that into a poster.
Yeah, that's just old school Doctor Doom. And I mean, I loved it when Magneto took the big iron statue of Doom and was basically threatening to crush all the peasants with it.
Yeah, because they're all like, "Oh God, the stone, it weighs tons," and he's just throwing it down on them.
He's like, "Yeah, whatever."
We see this is one of the things that I've fussed about with people too. That some people who I don't say watch don't read comics but only watch the superhero movies. How you watch DC movies, and each movie is a little different than the other ones. They don't have a kind of I don't say a unifying look to them, but they don't. I mean, you got this, now you got the Snyder cut that's going to come out next year, which is going to be completely different. And they've got all the filters, and then you try and put the Batman movies in, the Nolan Batman movies, which don't fit into the continuity of the DC timeline and everything. But back in the day with Marvel, they had everything had that house style. So a lot of the characters and all the art looked really similar. Some of it was better than others, but they still had that classic look like we're talking about. And to me, Marvel's kind of done that same thing with their movies. All the movies follow that same kind of formula. They have you go, I don't want to say it's the same movie every time, but it's the same movie every time. You get three story arcs. You get the first, the middle, and the last. The first part, the superhero is great. He does a super good job. He beats the bad guy. The second part, he gets his ass kicked, and then the third part, he comes back. And they have that house style, which is what's made them so big.
So what you're saying is all the Marvel movies are just Rocky movies with capes.
I don't know if I'd go that bad, but yeah, very close. They follow that. They're all in three styles. If you think about it, the only ones that aren't in that style is the Infinity War. To me, is Infinity War and oh God, and Endgame. Because they actually it's the same movie. It's just in two parts.
Yeah.
But because it's so long, to me, Endgame loses some of the formula. Endgame is much weaker to me than Infinity War. Infinity War is a much better movie.
Yeah, and Captain Marvel is.
I saw it once. Or twice. It's got some moments in it, but it's like I watched. Me and the wife watched on Thanksgiving Day. We watched Aquaman again because it was on TV. And I really got mad at Aquaman when it comes because I love Aquaman, the character. And I just wanted to see the old blonde-haired Aquaman and everything. But the movie actually works. And what's funny is the movie is really fun. It's like the Shazam movie. The Shazam movie is really fun for DC movies. But neither one of those movies are the dark and brooding Snyder stuff. And nobody mentions Martha, thank God. But
Martha Wayne, Martha Kent.
Yeah.
Don't you talk about my mother. Well, don't you talk about my mother.
But All right. Well, I guess we'll wrap this one up and then come back next week with 16. Hopefully, your internet will be back, and then you won't have to sit in the chair.
Well, I like this chair, but exactly, because my head looks so much bigger on this.
Well, that and you got to hold the phone out like this.
So we want to thank our sponsor once again, SpinWiz Comics at spinwizcomics.com. They are your one-stop shop for discovering web and indie comics, and they're free. Did you hear me? As you're trying to buy presents for the holidays, you can download the SpinWiz app for free on both iOS and Android and read lots and lots of free comics. And just so you know, there are superhero comics, horror comics, sci-fi comics, any kind of thing you can imagine. It's already been imagined and it's up there for you. And the superhero universe that Jonathan Hendrick created, the writer of the now blowing up like crazy story from Scout Comics called The Recount, Jonathan Hendrick has a few zombie comics on there and his superhero universe as well. So you can check all that stuff out. And here's what it could look like on your device. I didn't think I could do that on my phone, but apparently I uploaded it, and once I'm logged into my account, it's already there.
Yeah.
So yay me. So, all right, until next time at the Spinner Rack, this is Will.
And this is Thomas.
And we will catch you next time.